All right. Happy Thursday evening or afternoon to you, wherever you are. Thank you for joining this special launch webinar with the insider tips and tricks to get 10 steps ahead in the job search and really in building the future of your career, no matter what that holds. We're so excited that you're with us today. My name's Omar. I've got Jeremy. We are co-authors of this new book called Linked. So first, we want to say thank you so much if you have already purchased this book or have heard about it, have shared it on social, have done a review of it. We love you for that. And we're just super excited that this is out in the world. This has been a multi-year labor of love for us. And it's so cool to have it come to fruition. And Jeremy and I both have kids, and we actually did something that you can hold on to in the world, which is really fun for us. And I don't think our kids actually really care. At least I'll speak for mine. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this pretty interactive. We'll spend maybe 30, 45 minutes going through some content that we have for you to really make the most of LinkedIn, show you some latest and greatest cool hacks that we want to make sure you know about. And by the way, congrats to getting into this webinar. We had over 800 registrants. So if you are here, you made it in. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna leave some time at the end for questions, in addition to giving away 5 free one-on-one coaching sessions. So you definitely want to stay till the end until that happens. All right. So first things first. Oh, and by the way, if you have questions, please use the Q&A panel for that, so that we can see and answer those questions. All right. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Jeremy, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you great.
All right, great. I got my fancy podcast microphone on. All right, so let's jump in. First things first, let's meet your authors. I know a lot of y'all know us from previous trainings that we might have done for you, or you've seen our online course. But just as a reminder, I'm Omar. Here's my school pride, University of Virginia, go Hoos. Jeremy is a proud Swarthmore and UMich grad, go Blue. And really, our story is that we met at LinkedIn. LinkedIn has become our best friend throughout our, besides each other, throughout our career after finishing our MBAs, because in all these different places that we've worked, including LinkedIn Together, where we started the student and new grad team, we have not once applied for a single job. And we've had many of them in the 15 years since our MBAs. We have been found for jobs. Guess what? On LinkedIn. And that is because of both our optimized presence on LinkedIn and our optimized network. And those things are both equally important. So we are true believers in LinkedIn. We love the platform. We've seen it work not just for us, but also for the now tens of thousands of job seekers at all ages and stages of their career that we have trained. So believe us when we say this stuff works. And we're going to show you the latest and greatest today for your time for joining us tonight. And again, we're so proud to have worked at LinkedIn, which is why we're really pumped about this book being out in the world. It just launched a week ago, but we're so excited because this is actually the only book that explains how to use the platform for job seekers, for building your personal brand, for building a network that can be there when you need it. It's the only book written by former LinkedIn employees. So in this book, we're showing you the insider's sort of perspective on how the algorithm works, what best practices are for profile and for network building. And so you can trust us. Also, we've been career coaches for many, many years. And we know that the methods that we show you in the book are guaranteed to work. In fact, we have been offering a money back guarantee on our courses that thousands and thousands of online job seekers take online. We've been offering that for about 5 years, and we have had 2 people ask for their money back. So I promise you the things that are in the book are going to work. They're going to help you get a leg up. They will make recruiters come to you and that great job fall in your lap while you sharpen your presence and your profile so that you can get found for them. And if you don't believe us, you can believe the hundreds of top business programs that we work with around the world. All right, so coming back to the reason why we're all here today and the impetus for this webinar, super pumped about this book being out in the world, and it is a #1 new release in career categories. It's a bestseller already, and we want to keep it there and make sure that some of the wisdom of this book is getting out to as many people as possible. So thanks for supporting us and for helping us have this little launch party webinar. We're just so excited to be with you today. All right, I'm going to try to play a quick little 45-second video about the book and about who we are. This may not work with audio, but let's try it. And Jeremy, just let me, actually, you know what? You don't even need the audio. It's just background music. So here's a quick overview of the book and us. All right, could y'all hear that music?
Couldn't hear it, but we got the drift.
It's so much more powerful than music. All right, I thought that might happen, but this book is all about mastering LinkedIn, demystifying this platform, because there's a ton of stuff on it, but what really matters when it comes to finding and getting found for your dream job and really owning and creating your future. All right, so keep those questions coming in the Q&A, and I know exactly why that was, because of my microphone. It's no big deal. But thank you again for being here. So right now, we're going to take a quick little break. I promise you we'll have lots of good insights on LinkedIn coming, but we would like everyone to go check out our book. And I'm going to give you a minute to pull up one of these URLs, which Jeremy can put in the chat. There's a link to Amazon, or you can just go to thejobinsiders.com/linked and find a bunch of other places where you can buy this book. Ideally, you purchase it right now, but if you're waiting to see what kind of good stuff we have to offer, understood. Pull it up in your browser, pull it up on your phone, and have it ready to go for when the session's over. So there's the video, and there's the Amazon link. All right, it doesn't take that long to click buy. Thank you, appreciate it. 10, 9, 8, 7. Rama asks, does that link offer a discount to the book? The book is actually 10% off right now on Amazon. And so grab it now before the price goes back up. We also have a ton of extra freebies that you're going to get with the book: cheat sheets, tip sheets, profile checklists, and all of those things are available. You can check them out at thejobinsiders.com/linked. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So we're going to jump in with a quick pop quiz here. And let me get this loaded up. All right. Not to be too transactional about it, but here's our first pop quiz. Did you buy the book? All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, look at that. We're about 1/3, 2/3. So thank you to those 35% who have bought the book, and surely the rest of you will. All right. Thanks so much. All right. So reminder, here's those URLs. Thank you, Elizabeth. All right. So what we're going to go through today is basically 3.5 things. First, we're going to talk about how to hack keywords, how to find the most important keywords to help you stand out. Secondly, we're going to talk about how to find anyone without paying LinkedIn a penny. And then Third, we're going to talk about some AI that you can leverage to get better at your interviews. Lastly, as we said, in the last 5-10 minutes, we will announce 5 winners of our one-on-one coaching sessions. And then we'll tell you what you need to do to be in the pool for 5 more that we're going to give away. All right. So before we jump into keywords, we want to review a few LinkedIn fundamentals. And if you've taken our course or you've already read through the book, you know some of these things, but it's important to reiterate. First things first, why are we all here? The key to the modern job search is LinkedIn, okay? A comprehensive LinkedIn profile doubles your chances of getting a first interview. And it is the place that your personal brand exists and you burnish it on the web, okay? Hiring managers don't send around resumes, they send around your LinkedIn profile link. It is so much richer than a resume. It is your resume plus aspiration. What do you want to do next? Resume plus storytelling, some narrative, connecting the dots of your career and academics. It is your resume plus some visual elements and social validation. So it's just so much richer at this point than a resume. Think of a resume as a box checker and a LinkedIn profile as your professional brand in the world. All right, so having established that as the reason why we're all on LinkedIn and taking this seriously, not to mention 97% of recruiters use LinkedIn to find candidates. 2/3 of them only use LinkedIn to do so. Let's talk about what they're looking for. All right. They want to find candidates that are focused, that look exactly like the people who will fit the jobs they're trying to hire for. Okay. They're filtering out people who don't look serious, who've not engaged with the firm, shown they're on the job market, etc. Third, they want referrals from current employees because every company knows referrals are the best source of talent. They stay the longest, they perform the best. And if you get in as a referral, you are a special class of candidate. Fourth, they select candidates based on their connections, their network, as well as their knowledge, right? You crush your interview by having the knowledge to seal the deal. And then lastly, when things get serious, they're doing a background check or a back channel check where they reach out to your shared connections to see, are you really who you say you are? All right. So the job search hacker, what we go through in the book is a 5-step process to make sure that you are hacking this process of how hirers look for candidates and evaluate them. If they're looking for focused candidates, we talk a lot in the book about how to get focused and how to show up for something very clear and simple so that you can rise up in the search results with the algorithm and brand yourself very clearly as the thing you want to have next, not necessarily the thing you have been doing. Secondly, they're looking for serious candidates. So you've got to engage. You've got to show that you're engaged and pass through filters that they have in their recruiter product in a variety of ways that we walk through in the book. Third, if they're looking for referrals, you've got to find a lead and warm them up to get you in the door and be that source of validation for you, to make sure your application actually gets looked at by a real human being. And we're going to spend some time talking about that today. Fourth, they're selecting based on connections and knowledge. Not just that, the LinkedIn algorithm is serving them candidates based on how closely they are connected to you. And so you've got to build your network in ways that are both purposeful, strategic, as well as broad. And you've got to build your knowledge and know about the firm, know about the job, know about the managers so that you can crush your interview. And then lastly, if they're doing a background check, why should they be the only ones to do that? You can actually use LinkedIn to do your own background check so you know what you're getting into and don't have that great regret that the Great Resignation has turned into, where 3/4 of people who've switched jobs over the past 2 years are actually regretful that they did so because the new job did not meet their expectations. All right, so with that as a framework, let's do the next pop quiz. And this one is all about keywords, our first big topic for today. And here's the question: with the right keywords, how many more profile views do you get with the right keywords? And Evan asked a question about, is this relevant for all industries? Absolutely. The stuff we're showing you today is relevant for every industry, every level, every corner of the globe. All right. We got some guesses that run the gamut here. Most people said, yeah, maybe we get 10x views. Some people even were bold enough to say 40x. And guess what? it is in fact true that with the right keywords in the right places, you get 40 times more profile views. And so the basic thing we just want to recap here for those of you who have not read the book is that you are optimizing your profile for two things: the man or the human recruiter and the machine, the computer algorithm, the LinkedIn search algorithm. And the two things that matter most to the man or the human recruiter are your photo and your headline. Profile photo, you smiling, Duchenne, authentic smile, facing forward, non-noisy background, dress for the appropriate culture that you want to, dress like you look like you're already a part of the tribe of the company or the industry you want to be in. Headline, this is the most important real estate on LinkedIn. It's the area right below your name where you can say anything that you want to be next, not just necessarily what you have been. Forget LinkedIn's prompt to give you to list your headline as the current job that you might be in. All right. Great profile photo, 13 times more profile views. But the real magic comes with keywords. The right keywords in the right places get you 40 times more views. And we'll talk more about where you need to have those right keywords and how you even know what those are. And then the second thing that really matters to the algorithm that people don't understand is your connections. Remember, I said LinkedIn actually orders the search results for recruiters based on how closely you are connected to them, to the person searching. And so everybody gets different search results on LinkedIn. That has implications for how we build our network. All right, so let's jump into a deep dive on the first topic around how do we hack this keyword game. And remember, LinkedIn is your 24/7 resume. It's up working hard for you, partying all night long, getting you found. Now, here's the thing about the profile. There is no such thing as a perfect one. It doesn't exist. There's only a perfect profile for a specific job, okay? So when we're thinking about keywords, we've got to make sure we're showing up as highly focused for the job we want to have next, okay? And I see the questions about what do we mean by keywords. We'll get to that, all right? But the reason this is so important that you have focused your profile to really elevate and pull out the right keywords for the job you want to be found for or considered for next is because we know that recruiters in their $10,000 a year product that they use to find candidates, they are searching on some very basic things. They're searching for things like job title. That's how they're starting their search, and location, right? And then they've got these filters across the top. But if they're searching for job title and location, here's the next pop quiz. Who between these two candidates, Megan and Raphael, based on their headlines, is going to get a better result in the recruiter, in the way that we know recruiters search? And you don't have to type this in. You can just think to yourself for a second. And if you said Megan, you are indeed correct. The reason Megan will shine through in the LinkedIn algorithm that recruiters are using all day long to find candidates is because she's got that keyword string for the job she wants to have next. Project manager. She looks focused. Raphael, by comparison, looks unfocused. We don't know what kind of job he wants to be found for next. He's got a lot of buzzwords, but none of them are a specific job title, okay? So in a world of Raphael's, do your best to be a Megan. That involves a whole lot of soul searching. But if you can be highly specific and targeted with those keywords in your headline, you're going to get better results. Now, to quickly answer your question earlier about what sections matter the most in terms of keywords, it's in this order. First and foremost, headline, like we've been talking about, most important to the algorithm, and the one area we know that recruiters skim when they're searching, when they're viewing the search results in their recruiter product. Secondly, that summary section. It's now called about, but Jeremy and I love to think of it as a summary because it's a professional summary. And the format you're going to use for that is 1 or 2 sentences providing a narrative arc of what connects the dots of your career and academic life. Do not expect recruiters or hiring managers to connect the dots for you. You have to connect them proactively for everybody else. And then you're going to have 3 bullets of the greatest hits of your resume, right? Your Sports Center version of your resume. And then you're going to have a paragraph chock full of keywords that show up in the job descriptions for the job you're targeting next. Expertise in, boom, boom, boom. Specialties in, boom, boom, boom. If you're a student or a new grad, coursework in, and you're going to list those keywords that show up in the JDs that you're most interested in. And then lastly, your actual job experience. Don't forget about volunteer experience. 2/3 of recruiters value volunteer experience on par with paid full-time work experience. So that's a really great way that you can get some of these keyword hits in there if you haven't actually done them as your full-time job. All right. Another way that you can now signal that you know something about the requirements of a job, think of these as keywords on steroids, is to turn on LinkedIn creator mode, which who cares about helping you get followers? What really matters is you can now add up to 5 hashtags right at the top of your profile that show, hey, I care about these things, and I've got those keywords that are required for the job I want to be in next. You can do this right at the top of your profile. Also, setting up custom job alerts by clicking that jobs icon at the very top, the briefcase, and making sure that you have set those up for the jobs you're most interested in, getting them pushed to your inbox, keeping a pulse on what kinds of jobs are coming open so you can review them for keyword matches that you want to then have inside your profile and also on your resume. All right, Jeremy is going to talk some more about this way of a skill-based way to look at other jobs that might be interesting to you based on the things you've done in your career and how you can highlight those within your profile as keywords. And then there's also an amazing tool called jobscan.co we want to let you know about to get scientific about keyword matches. So with that, Jeremy, you want to take over?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, we would love to have a brave volunteer raise their hand on Zoom. And in doing so, you're going to do 2 things. Number 1, you're going to get live coaching from Omar and myself. And then number 2, you're going to help everyone learn. So if you would like to raise your hand right now, we're going to give you a chance to chat directly with us and then get some really valuable LinkedIn tips. And I saw that Frank's hand went up first. So Frank, if you can unmute your line, I would love to connect with you. And Omar, I don't know if you can give Frank the ability to unmute. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, Frank.
Yes. Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Good. And yourself, Jeremy?
Doing well, especially now that you volunteered. Thanks for doing that.
All right.
Okay, so Frank, I'm going to ask you a big question just to get started here.
Mhm.
Where are you in your career today? And then also, what are you thinking about in terms of next steps?
So I am, I'm heading up the enterprise risk function. I'm at the intersection of enterprise risk and emerging technology.
Awesome.
And I'm with a vendor. I am currently exploring roles on what I like to do is swing back home to the client side of the business.
Uh-huh.
And that's, yeah.
Okay, so let me actually show you a couple of tools here. So this first one that Omar alluded to is called Career Explorer. And as you're going to see, it's so brand new that it's not even on LinkedIn.com yet. Instead, it's on GitHub, which is a separate Microsoft property. And that being said, it's powered by the data of 800 million professionals. So if you're thinking about, hey, how do I go from where I am today to where I want to be in the future? It's going to actually give you a very data-driven way of doing that. So check out what it does. It starts off with the fundamental recognition that all these 800 million professionals on LinkedIn have job titles and associated skills. And then, because there's so much great data on LinkedIn, it draws this Venn diagram where it starts and says, Frank, you've got these incredible skills today, but guess what? Those skills could lead you to an even better job tomorrow. And so that way you're not starting from scratch, but you're building on that strong foundation. And so where are you located right now, Frank?
In Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, GTA, baby.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to put in the GTA, Greater Toronto Area. And then if you had to give yourself sort of a generic job title, Frank, what would that job title be today?
Vice President, Enterprise Risk Management.
Okay. And so there may not be the exact job, but let me see if I can find something. If you had to sort of think of something that would be like an analog, is it something maybe in the
Like finance
account
analyst
management space, or tell me more?
Yeah, so it would broadly be in the risk space.
Okay.
So risk management is a fairly broad topic.
Yeah, I don't say anything exactly, but let me just give you an example. So like, let's say that you were working with accounts, maybe you're doing something where you're supporting existing customers. And so you're going to come down here, you're going to say, let me choose account manager. And you're going to say, I want to make sure that the accounts that I support have everything they need to be successful. And what this Career Explorer will do for you is it'll take your existing job, it'll break it down to these skills, and then it will reverse engineer all these potential matches. And you can do it in a couple of different ways. You can sort by obvious jobs, or less obvious jobs. You can sort by popularity or even things that are a little off the beaten path. And you might say, wait a second, I had thought about myself being in the risk space or the account space, but what about business development? And what LinkedIn will show you is a lot of the skills that you've built up already are really valuable over there, but there are some also skills that you want to build on to give yourself entree into that field. And so what I would highly recommend, Frank, if you want to explore any of these things, is a couple of steps. Number one, come on in here and just look up people who you already know on LinkedIn that are in that space. And so that way you're not plunging in blindly the way that I used to do when I sort of barged from one career into another, but you're actually learning from insiders. And that's so powerful. And then because LinkedIn has an entire educational arm, you can actually say, hey, I love this path, but I know that I have to work on my presentation skills or my strategic skills. And sure enough, you can take courses in any of those things right there on LinkedIn Learning. And by the way, we're big believers in getting as much information and as much power without paying a cent. So you can sign up for LinkedIn Learning for a free trial for 30 days. And you'll notice a lot of these courses are 3 minutes or 30 minutes or 3 hours. And you can finish them off in the span of that month and get all this great new skill upskilling without paying LinkedIn a cent. And then when you're ready to apply, you can look for those jobs on LinkedIn. So that's the first step, Frank. But now let me ask you a question. If you decide that you want to go into that role of customer side sort of risk management that you were alluding to before, do you happen to know, Frank, what are the most important keywords to be found by recruiters for that role?
Yes, I believe so. So they would want to look for enterprise risk, risk leader, governance, compliance, also emerging technology. So those are the type of things that I suspect people are looking for.
Right, right. And I like that you use the word suspect because I suspect the same thing, but I don't know for sure. If you want to cut out the sort of ambiguity and go right to the source of truth, and I told you, Frank, that there is somewhere on LinkedIn that recruiters are literally handing you those keywords every single day. Where do you think that might be?
Probably how they landed on your profile.
Okay, so you can definitely see if recruiters are coming to your profile or not, trying to kind of reverse engineer what's happening. But check out what Lisa shared in the chat. Lisa said, wait a second, what about those job posts that we're looking at all the time?
Mm-hmm.
So if you come in here and you say, I want to work in the enterprise risk space, and you look specifically for jobs in that arena, what you're going to discover is that hiding inside all of these jobs are keywords. So things like ESG, internal reporting, dashboards, compliance risk. And again, you're not guessing at it, Frank. You're taking it straight from the horse's mouth. And so, Frank, how would you like to have your own custom list of keywords to make sure that your profile is ready for prime time?
Wonderful.
Okay, so let's do it. So we're going to head over to a separate site called jobscan.co. And the beautiful thing about JobScan, I'm going to put this link right in the chat, is that you can actually run a simulation of the LinkedIn algorithm even before you've changed a single word on your profile. And so what you're going to do is you're going to feed it, first of all, the job that you're excited about, including all those keywords. And you can see that there are a lot: COSO, SASB. It's like an alphabet soup. But each one of those things is one step closer to you convincing the recruiter that you belong in the role. So we're going to paste that in. And then, Frank, do you mind if I pull up your profile, not to criticize, but to give it some love?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. And will everyone send Frank a lot of digital love in the chat, because it takes a ton of guts to do what Frank is doing. And Frank, is this you right here at the top?
You got it.
Okay, great to see you. Okay, so we're going to grab Frank's profile, which looks awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
And of course, Frank's profile is already full of keywords. So let's give him credit for what he already has, and we'll run our scan. And I see you're getting a lot of love from Roberta, from Abhishek, from Purana. So your fan club is building with each passing second.
Love it.
Okay, here's our big moment of truth, the big reveal. So
Ah.
JobScan is going to give you this match rate.
Mhm.
What this match rate is telling you is here are the most important skills that JobScan identified straight from the job description. Again, no guessing required, straight from the recruiter. And then here's how often you nailed them on your profile.
Mhm.
So for things like governance, technology,
Mhm.
strategic direction, bam, you got those.
Mhm.
But what about PMP or CMA or communications? And so now here's where the art and science of LinkedIn comes in, because we've just done the scientific piece. Frank, have you ever done anything in your career with data, with communications, or with project management?
Sure.
I had a feeling. Could you give me an example of one of those, a time that you've employed one of those skill sets?
Sure. Like so in communication, I've spoken at several events, such as at the Global Risk Institute. If you go further down, you'll see some of the places where I spoke at. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so I could just imagine right here on your profile, you have a bullet that says, led communication strategy for my firm, spoke at XYZ events,
Right.
driving 500 new leads to consider my vendor. And there, right in that first word or second word, you've incorporated that keyword communications that the algorithm is expecting to find on your profile. And so while not having it today renders you invisible, getting that onto your profile over and over and over again starts to bring you right to the center of that radar screen. Does that make sense, Frank?
Yes, yes. Jeremy, what profile did you compare my LinkedIn to?
Yeah, so I was comparing it to that Verizon job. And I know it might not be your dream job exactly.
Right.
But again, one sort of like bonus hack here is that when you run your job scan, and by the way, you can do 2 of these searches free every single month, is you don't have to do it one job at a time. What you could do instead, Frank, is you could find all the jobs you're excited about at TD or Scotiabank or wherever you want to work, paste them all into JobScan, and now you're not over indexing on just one role, you're scanning the entire industry and finding the most important patterns. How does that sound?
Good.
Okay,
Great.
So because you were our first participant in this career game show, if you will, Frank, I would love to give you a lovely parting gift. How does that sound?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I know the last thing you probably want at this point in your career, after being out of business school for a while, is yet more homework. But I will promise you, this is a homework with a big ROI, because if you can nail these keywords, you can be absolutely visible to the world of recruiters. So there you go, Frank.
All right. Thank you.
Frank, thank you for enlightening all of us and for being such a rock star volunteer. You completely kicked butt today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so that is the process for finding your path and finding your keywords. Now, Omar, where do we go next?
You're on mute there, Omar.
Oh, I am sorry. All right. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Frank. That was awesome. Thank you, Frank, for letting me know that I was on mute. Let's keep going here. All right. So we finished topic number 1, keywords, finding the right ones and how you know how to do that and where to put them. All right. Now let's talk about the second topic, how to find anyone without paying LinkedIn a penny. First things first, why does this matter? There is an entire hidden job market out there. 80% of jobs are never posted, or if they are posted with a person already in mind who is going to get that job that the hiring manager already knows, or an internal candidate. Okay. Luckily, you can tap into this hidden job market using LinkedIn for networking. This is why we refer to LinkedIn in the book as the great opportunity democratizer. Anybody can build a network to get them in the door, and is no longer a requirement that you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth or went to a top MBA school. All right. So, let's bring up our next pop quiz here. And it's all about the power and value of referrals from current employees. What percentage of hires are from inside referrals, from people who already work at the company? Do you think? All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is a savvy group. About half of people say 40%, and a bunch of people are feeling super optimistic about referrals and saying 90%. Well, don't be disappointed, the 90%ers. It is actually amazing, though. Those of you who got 40% are correct. And here's why it's amazing. Only 7% of job applicants are referrals, meaning current employees are putting them in for the job. But 40%, the biggest chunk of who actually gets hired. Okay, so they're way punching above their weight in terms of how valuable these are. Remember, I said referrals make you a special class of candidate. All right. It's also important because the LinkedIn algorithm actually orders the search results depending on how close you are connected to the person searching. So what that means is you've got to make specific connections with network nodes. The best nodes on LinkedIn, recruiters. Why? Because they're connected to lots of other recruiters. So you'll be 1 degree removed from many of them when you start connecting into them. Secondly, they are, it is their job to connect with people, right? And third, they're connected into hiring managers and people who work at the companies that you might want to work for. So if you can find a way to connect with recruiters, and we've got all kinds of tips and tricks in the book to do that, they are like gold. All right. The other way that you're going to find referrals who can get you in the door is using LinkedIn's advanced people search to find exactly who you need to build a relationship with, so they can think of you when that perfect job for you comes up. Again, remembering most jobs are never posted or actively recruited for. And another great way to not just build selective connections who can help you and be those referrals, but also just understand different career paths that are available to you, is something that Jeremy and I love because we helped work on it when we were at LinkedIn, which is the LinkedIn alumni tool, which Jeremy will show you in a minute. Last insider tip here to build a network is to play something called Who's Viewed My Profile Roulette. And Jeremy can show you all of these things: LinkedIn Advanced Search, the alumni tool, and Who's Viewed My Profile Roulette. Jeremy, go for it.
Okay, so again, we need another brave volunteer to follow in Frank's awesome footsteps. If you don't want to be a volunteer, definitely take your hand down so we don't accidentally call on you. But I'm going to pick someone in about 3 seconds. So if you still want to be in the running, just keep your hand raised. 3, 2, 1. And this time, let's go with Elizabeth. So Omar, if you wouldn't mind allowing Elizabeth to chat, feel free to unmute your line, Elizabeth. Hey, how are you?
Hi.
Hi, how are you
Fine.
doing?
I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me to participate.
Oh, thanks for raising your hand. That's huge. And so Elizabeth, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you in your career and what are you excited about?
Well, I live on the beach in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but I'm really much more into forensic accounting than I am to the beach.
Okay, forensic accounting. Ooh, that sounds exciting. Like busting Enron or something like that. Is that right?
Actually, I'd like to bust a construction site that's on my condominium grounds, and I'm licensed engineer, a property management company that is involved in the cooperation, and the city government that is also paying its role by not requiring work permits and sign drawings and things like that.
Wow. So there might be a whole new webinar we could do together, Elizabeth, like LinkedIn for detectives, busting corruption in your city. But for the purposes of our job focus session today, we'll stick to the forensic accounting side.
Exactly. And
that's right.
Living in an environment like this, I need to get back into an organization where I'm focused on the organization's issues. It's not healthy to be living in an environment where you're using the skills I have.
Yeah, totally. And so remind me, what would be an organization that you would love to work for? So where would you love to apply your skill?
One that has an opening right now is the Florida Bar.
Okay.
As an auditor some people are going to find this very offensive, but it's in lawyer regulation, like embezzlement cases, and working with attorneys in cases that may end up before the Florida Supreme Court. And this is something that I would be very interested in. I've seen some of this behavior, which is absolutely disgusting. That is not to say that I think lawyers are thieves. It's a few of them, and it takes a tremendous amount of patience and focus to find the bizarre patterns. And I happen to be very good at it, and I love doing it.
Right. Thank you, Elizabeth. Let's go, Jeremy.
Okay. So here we go. So Elizabeth, tell me, where did you go to school out of curiosity?
I went to school a lot.
Okay, just choose one of your favorites. How about that?
Okay, I went to IMD for my MBA.
Oh, one of our favorite. Yeah.
Yes,
love that.
and then when I moved to Florida, I got a master's in forensic accounting from Florida Atlantic University. And I also am ABD and for a doctorate that
Oh, wow.
was at Florida International University, and also had a fraud focus.
Oh my goodness. Okay, you were like a Renaissance woman, but let's go with IMD because that's one of our amazing partners. And one of the things that Omar had called out was this idea of the alumni tool, the product that he and I had worked on. And so just to give you an example of how this works, you can actually sort through alumni just like yourself, in this case, 45,000, and you can sort by what they do. So business development, sales, entrepreneurship, all these different things. In your case, you might say, I want to find someone in the forensic accounting space. So you plug in those search terms, and then bam, you find all these firms, the big ones like PwC and Deloitte, but also some
Oh,
smaller
well, see,
ones.
and I thought there would be like nobody because MBAs and forensic accountants generally don't merge in terms of
Yeah.
interests.
But there's Fabienne and others who are exactly doing the things that you're excited about. And so
That's
that's
great.
that's the kind of people you want to be reaching out to and learning from. So that's the alumni tool. Now let's go back to
Thank
the
you.
Florida Bar for a second. If you want to work for the Florida Bar Association, what you're going to do is you're going to click on their page on LinkedIn, and then you're going to notice that they, like every organization in the world, has a LinkedIn page, and specifically, they have all these hundreds of employees that are actually on the site. So just like Omar was talking about, you're going to come here and you're going to say, hey, I want to find someone that I can potentially reach out to, get a referral from, get my foot in the door. So what do you think about this? How interested would you be, Elizabeth, in connecting with Christine, who's the CHRO over there? And if Christine goes to bat for you, you know you're going to get an interview. How does that sound?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, so here, we were talking before in the chat about, do you need to have LinkedIn Premium? Do you need to pay LinkedIn $100 just for the privilege of reaching out to Christine? And
Well, I
our
already
answer,
have the career one, so.
oh, okay, got it. So I've got good news for you. I know that you want to save money to enjoy your life on the beach. And so I'm going to tell you, you don't have to have LinkedIn Premium, because if you want to reach out to Christine, you can actually go to a separate site called hunter.io. And again, I'm putting this
Hunter?
into the chat so everyone can benefit. And you could say, let me just look up the Florida Bar. And then sure enough, Hunter has done all the heavy lifting for you. And it's figured out that the email format for that organization is first initial, full last name at floridabar.org. And there you go. Without paying LinkedIn anything, you know that C. Peugeot at floridabar.org is your ticket to this particular career lottery. And so I highly
Great.
recommend that you use things like Hunter before you spend any money on LinkedIn.
Thank you.
And this is asking, where's the alumni tool? And it all depends on your university. So for example, Elizabeth had mentioned going to Florida Atlantic. If you plug that school in, you'll see it at the top of the list. And then voila, right there on the school page is the alumni tool. And every university in the world has one of these. And then last, but certainly not least, when you're doing your searches, you can play this who viewed my profile roulette that Omar alluded to, which is go to Cheryl's page and Christine's page and Calbride's page. And what you will probably notice very soon is that when you go to your own profile and say, hey, who's been checking me out? Dun, da, 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 you will discover that a lot of very similar people have been checking you out, because of course the natural human instinct is when someone looks at you, you want to look at them. And we've had people who've actually done this very intentionally, got all these people to look at them, and then reached out and said, hey, I noticed that you noticed me. I wanted to check out you. We obviously have so much in common. Why don't we have a quick chat? And that chat led to a conversation. That conversation led to a referral, and the referral led to a job. So just like that, Elizabeth, 3 really powerful
Thank you
techniques
so much.
to get your foot in the door. Thank you, Elizabeth. You have been awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Jeremy. Super helpful stuff. And just so everyone knows, actually, let me take over screen sharing again. Just so everyone knows, the stuff that Jeremy just showed you does not require LinkedIn Premium. Okay. So that's what we mean when we say you don't have to pay a penny to LinkedIn. Just say no to LinkedIn Premium. Okay. that advanced people search that he showed you, you will only hit a paywall there if you're doing hundreds of those a month. And if you do, you can always trial LinkedIn Premium for free for 30 days. If you're a career services professional, you probably need it. The rest of you don't. It does not rise you up in the search results to get a special, especially high in those search results and get found and get noticed. Okay. So you don't need LinkedIn Premium. All right. Last topic for today. How do you leverage the power of artificial intelligence for interviews? And this is a new feature on LinkedIn that we want you all to know about. You can do AI powered interview practice. You can also see common interview questions for various job categories. Jeremy, show us this.
Okay, so for this one, I would love one final brave volunteer. So if you want to follow in Frank and Elizabeth's awesome footsteps, just go ahead and raise your hand.
I saw Pavel.
Okay, so Pavel, Omar, if you wouldn't mind giving Pavel the mic, I would love to chat with you.
Oh, he disappeared. He
Okay.
lowered his hand.
Well, actually, in the interest of time, because I want to make, there's
Okay.
Pavel. Hey, Pavel.
Hi.
Hey, Pavel, sorry to put you on the spot there. I apologize about that. But I'll be really gentle, I promise. Just a quick question for you. If you were thinking about another role that you might be really excited about, Pavel, what might that role be?
Like technical project manager, the role that I'm looking
Yeah, awesome. Okay.
for. Yep.
And you could imagine that for that kind of role, the interview is critical. They have to get a good sense of, are you organized? Are you a great communicator? Can you really sort of earn the respect of the people you're delegating to? And so the thing that you're going to have to do most likely here in 2022 is do all those really hard things all over Zoom, all in the context of a video interview. And to help you get ready for prime time, I've got one final free hack for you. And even though LinkedIn launched this about a year ago, most people don't know it exists. But sure enough, if you click the little jobs briefcase at the top of your screen, you are going to see this thing called interview prep on the left-hand side. And the reason I love interview prep so much is that it really walks you through everything that's going to make you successful in the virtual interview context. So first of all, it's going to give you all the best questions to practice on, not just for general interviews, but specifically for your area. So Pavel, who wants to go into technical project management, is going to have to talk about managing deadlines, managing software projects. And so he's going to start by getting practice of his own. I think one of the really sort of daring things, I don't know if you would agree with this, Pavel, is that when that little webcam light goes on for the first time, it can be really daunting. Do you ever feel that way?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like the glaring light of the webcam staring you down. And so the more practice you can do ahead of time, the less scary it seems once you actually have the real thing. And so that's the first piece of practice. And then, because we all know that it's not just what you say, it's how you say it, LinkedIn's AI is going to give you all this awesome communication feedback. So number one, how fast are you speaking? Number two, are you varying your pitch or are you speaking in a monotone fashion? And then of course, every career coach's favorite, are you using filler words, verbal crutches like or a that are undercutting your speech? Does that seem useful, Pavel?
Yeah, very much.
And again, you don't even need to hire a career coach for that. You can get that now 100% for free right there on LinkedIn whenever you need it. And then tell me this, Pavel, at the companies that you want to work, do you know anybody on the inside?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Would you be willing to take some of those videos you've recorded and then share them with an insider? So for example, if you want to work at Google, is there someone that you could reach out to and share that video with? Would that be doable for you, Pavel?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and the reason I say this is obviously the way you talk matters a lot, but what you say is still important. And if you want to make sure you're hitting the right talking points, that you're focused on the right values, sharing with an insider and getting their insider perspective can be the perfect sort of polishing layer right before you head into the interview. So again, 3 things all for free, Pavel. Practicing with real questions, getting feedback on how you answer, and then getting insider feedback from folks who know the organization best. How does that sound?
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions there, Pavel?
Not at the moment. No, I'm just checking in parallel as I
Okay,
speak.
cool. Well, the link is all in the chat. Feel free to bookmark that whenever you like. And Pavel, thank you for being our last volunteer of the evening. You were awesome. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, back to Omar.
All right. Thank you, Pavel. Thank you, Jeremy. We're going to bring it home with a few final tips and make sure that we pick our winners for individual coaching sessions with me or Jeremy. That's a $200 value. First thing that we're going to ask, though, is that we take some time right now. If you have purchased the book already, or even if you haven't and you got value out of this session, again, we're just scratching the surface, but we would love for everyone to head to Amazon right now and write a quick little review about the book or our strategies in it. All right. So we're going to give you about 5 minutes to go do this. Everyone head over to Amazon, search for the book linked, and we are going to keep answering questions in the chat while you do that. We're going to take 5 minutes and then we'll come back and pick our winners for the one-on-one coaching sessions.
And I've included the link for the customer review in the chat. So if you're willing to do that, that would be amazing. And I want to speak to a question from Nav. Nav had asked, is this only available with premium? Absolutely not, Nav. I would recommend looking at it on the desktop site for the full experience. There are a couple of parts like special examples of previous interview answers that are for premium only, but the core experience, like everything on LinkedIn, is absolutely available for free. And again, check out the desktop version for the full experience. Great question.
All right, let's take the answers to chat instead of distracting people while they're writing their reviews. So we'll be typing in the answers. Keep the questions coming. We're heading over to Amazon and writing a review. Thank you so much for doing that. All right, we're going to take 3 more minutes. All right, final minute here. Thank you everyone for doing this. Thanks for trying. If you're getting a message saying you're not eligible on Amazon, keep trying. One thing is for sure, if you buy the book, you will be eligible as a verified purchaser. So exactly, Peter, it's all about sales and reviews. We so appreciate it. We're still answering questions in the chat in this final minute. All right. Okay, so I know there's a ton more questions. And again, we've only scratched the surface here. We wanted to bring you some of the coolest new things that a lot of people don't know about on LinkedIn, and make sure we hit those things for you today. But let's end with a few pop quizzes, just a couple to finish us out. And that is, just so we know, 2 questions, and then we'll do our giveaways. All right. I love it. No one's saying, oh, some people said, no, they won't buy it, but most people are saying, I either bought it or I promise I will. And then, did you review it? Most people either did or say they will. Thank you guys so much. We so appreciate the support. And there's a lot more goodness from where some of this came from tonight in the book. All right, let's get to our one-on-one coaching session winners. The way we're going to do this is we are going to choose 5 people who attended our session today. There's a lot of you in here. And so we're going to choose 5 people. And then we're going to choose 5 more, because we promised to give away 10. We're going to choose 5 more from people who submit reviews on Amazon. So we'll be in touch with you if you are a winner from the Amazon reviews. And we will do that in about a week. So you have plenty of time to get the book, submit a review. We want to thank you in advance for doing that. Again, there are the links to the book. Also, if you are a winner tonight of one of the individual coaching sessions, you can DM us at 2 LinkedIn Guys. We will also take note and remember your name. And that's also a great way to reach us if you have additional questions. Make sure to smash that follow button for us too. All right, so let's find out our winners for tonight. And the way we're going to do this is with my random number generator. All right, so Jeremy, if you can you see the generator?
I can indeed.
All right, so let's make note of this, and I'm just going to go down the list here. Hey, don't give me that. And I'm going to go down the list here and name the names. If you want to help me figure out, if you want to just take note who they are, let's go down to this one. Okay, 87. Let's spin again. All right, 65, number 65 in our participant list for an hour-long coaching session with us, if you can swing it. That is going to be Sarah Young. Congratulations, Sarah Young. All right, next up, 54. Rena Gordon, congratulations. Thank you for coming today. DM us and we will get you scheduled for your one-on-one coaching session. 37. Clara Sinclair. We need to chat anyway. Congratulations, Clara. We'll spend some time with you. 70. That is Stan Rudoy. I don't know how to say your last name, but Stan, congratulations. And our last seat for a one-on-one coaching session with me or Jeremy, we already had that number. What are the chances? Goes to number 55. And that is going to be almost there. Pamela Taylor. All right, Pamela, congratulations. Thank you to everyone for joining tonight. I think Jeremy and I can stay on to answer a few more questions if that's helpful. And because you registered and attended tonight, you're going to get this recording, so you will have that. And thank you again for your support. Please do buy the book. Please do review it on Amazon. It helps so much. With that, I will stop the recording and we'll stay on to answer any last minute questions. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much. And congrats to all the winners. Congrats to everyone.